Raindrops. Oh gosh, I forgot to hit a button on my. Okay. Hi, raindrops. Let me get myself together. Hold on, child. This is what happens when you're single and you have nobody to help you with stuff. Hold on. That's why I'm looking for my Marjorie Harvey. Is it hard? Apparently it is. Okay, hold on. Okay. Hi. I have my glasses. Hi, Sherelle. Hey, Sheridan. Sheridan, thank you for the sweet note from yesterday. Happy Mother's Day to all of the raindrops who are mothers. I love you all so deep. Okay. All right. It's not a mother not live if Los ain't late. Oh my gosh. Exactly. It's been 2 minutes. Sheridan, the oxygen is in my clofus that I clearly abandoned. Life is life in girls, boys, gays, and days. Okay. Kadisha said, I'm married, Carlos, but I'll still be your Marjorie. I am not a cheater. I believe in the sanctity of marriage. Is why I created love in marriage. I believe in marriages lasting forever. I'm not a pastor, but I will not tell somebody to get a divorce. If you watch Love and Marriage Detroit Part 1 reunion on Saturday, then you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you, Brittany. I had a great weekend. I literally did nothing. I was on the road. I sound like Beyonce. I was on the road for the past week. We will joy, faith, love. And it was nice to have a weekend off. Carlos would be a good husband and be. Okay, let's have a conversation. I'm gonna bring on my guest. And we're gonna move on. Okay. You know what's so funny? I do feel like I want to get Dr. Thompson and Kimberly's thoughts on this because they're married, right? And they've been married for a while, and they're both from Detroit. So I don't know if it's a Detroit thing, but I really love being in a relationship. And I don't know if I'm a good boyfriend, but I'm a great husband, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm good at dating, but I am excellent at being a husband. But I don't want the paperwork. I don't want the paperwork. I don't want this thing you put on your finger called a lock. I don't call it a ring. It's a lock, honey, because it's a combination lock. It's bolted. You can't make a copy of it because I feel like it's a permanent lock that lets the world know you are taken. And I'm a faithful man, so that's good. That's fine. But there's something about this metal on your forefinger, is it, that warrants. Oh, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Anybody I'm be with will sign a prenup. I'm just, baby. In the words of Aretha Franklin, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way for me to love you. No, you signing a prenup. And I don't mind signing a prenup either. We both gonna be prenup signing mofos. I'm not dating anybody that won't sign a prenup. Because who you are today, you may not be 10 years from now. I wonder if Dr. Thompson signed the prenup. I'll ask her because Anthony owns businesses and she's a doctor. So I'm curious if they both signed prenups. Did Kimberly Dobine sign a prenup? Kimberly Dobine strikes me as the type of woman who would draft a prenup and once she gets it back, she's going to like note it herself with no lawyer involved. That's what I think. But nonetheless, and I wonder if Claudia signed a prenup in her first marriage. Okay, so when I bring on my guests, we're going to ask them questions about prenups because that's a good question. But I know this for a fact. You signing a prenup. And I told you all this story once, and I'm going to say it quickly. In my last relationship, I did mention to him, like, okay, so quick story. We were on the couch because when you're with somebody for a long time, you have like a routine. So at 7:00, we would watch Family Feud. And I would eat my vegan food. He would eat his church's chicken chop, Popeyes, ham hocks, chitlins, black eyed peas, yams, stuffing, and it wasn't even Thanksgiving. So we were sitting on the couch one day and we're watching television, and it was this big discussion. No, so we would watch Family Feud, and then after Family Feud, we would watch The View together because I would record The View and we would watch The View together. So on The View, there was this big topic about prenups. And I'm sitting on the couch and he's sitting on my left. And I said, yo, if we were to ever get married, would you be okay with signing a prenup? And he did just like this. And I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? He said, I ain't signed no prenup, boy, please. I said, but no, like real talk. Like we never talked about this before. Cause I don't want to get married, but like, let's just say hypothetically we were to get married. Would you sign a prenup? He said, absolutely not. And at that moment, I realized, you will never have a joint account, and every money you have earned, you need to make sure that it's documented, and you need to make sure that what's yours is yours, and what child. That was that. So that's my bedtime story. So my advice to everybody, I don't care if you make $1 a year, child. Please, when you're dating somebody, have the conversation of a prenup. I didn't realize that he was adamant about not signing one. And I was definitely surprised. And when I told one of my homegirls, she said, y'all been together for so long, he ain't with you for your money. And I said, it ain't that, but I just feel like you should protect your assets. And she was like, I think you're tripping. But was I tripping? I don't know, but let's figure it out. I want to talk about that to my guest tonight as we get into prenup conversations. I'm going to bring in Love and Marriage Detroit's Dr. Thompson and newest cast member, Kimberly Dobine. Hey, Dr. Thompson, Kimberly Dobine.
Hi,
how's it going?
Great. Wonderful. You're hilarious.
No. Okay, so we got them. I want to bring on Claudia and Dustin now.
What's up, y'all?
Hi, Dustin.
Are you ready, Claudia? We're live.
I was reading something. I'm sorry. I was watching clips. I'm trying to get caught up, so I sound stupid tonight. My bad. Hey, y'all.
Hi, Claudia.
I'm juggling a lot of things right now, and I so regret not marrying for money because I'm so tired of working so hard. Like if anyone knows a sugar daddy that would like a 52-year-old Kelly Blue Book value, not that. It's like, okay, I'm so tired. I'm so
Blue
tired.
Book value.
I'm just saying. Well, I am in Atlanta, so that's the trick capital of the world. So maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay, so question. First of all, I want to say to Dr. Thompson and Kimberly, happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day was yesterday. What did you guys do for Mother's Day? Was it a good one? Did Anthony and Marcel, did they do it big for you ladies? What happened?
Yes. You want to go first, Toya, or you want me to go?
Well, I'll go. It's fine. So actually, I was in Chicago. Anthony sent me to Chicago to see my sister.
Wonderful.
To get away. So it was good. Like for so many years, you know, we have ideas of what we like and what we don't like. And I'm like, I just want to go away. But I didn't know. So it was great to hang out with my sister and then not have to deal with the kids. So I went for a day.
And this is your twin sister?
My little sister.
Oh, your little sister.
A lawyer, yes.
Your sister's a lawyer.
The little sister, yeah.
Your parents are
contracts.
You said what, Toya?
My contracts.
She's such a.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Red lines for you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I did hear that when it comes to Mother's Day, the best Mother's Day gift is for the mother not to be around her husband or her kids. So Anthony did good.
I was happy. I mean, of course, I miss my kids, but I was with them. I was with them yesterday, so it was.
Did you know?
I did.
Only one day.
It's funny because they were like, it was like she'll start fighting with Aiden, and she's like, "Oh wait, it's Mother's Day," and then they'll stop, and then they'll do it again. So I mean, at least they tried to remember it was Mother's Day.
Bless their heights. Bless their heights. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Kimberly, what did you do yesterday?
So, surprisingly enough, my mother is here. She is here. She's staying with us until the fall. So, yes. So, I enjoy my Mother's Day by going to the DIA. I really wanted to go to the museum to see an installation by an incredible artist here in Detroit, Tiff Massey. It's insane. It's called 7 Mile in Livernois, and it was stunning. It was absolutely amazing. So we did that. And then we went to dinner at my favorite restaurant. Toya knows what that restaurant is. And it was beautiful. Like
starters. I'm teasing.
No, not starters. But that's on the top 5 when you talk about lamb chops. Don't
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Now,
Coney Island.
Okay.
What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant is this restaurant in Birmingham called Zana. And I'm a regular. Like when I walked in, they were like, "Oh my God, we love you. Happy Mother's Day. We can't believe you came." I'm like, it's my favorite place. Like, I don't believe in going somewhere new for Mother's Day. Like, I'm gonna go for what I know. I know it's gonna be a great atmosphere. It was beautiful. And that morning, Marcel woke me up with the kids and gave me my gift. So it was really nice. Really nice Mother's Day.
They did good. They did good.
I love that mothers that they say that you're happiest when you're away from your kids and your mate on Mother's Day. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. I definitely had one of those Mother's Days before, for sure.
Yes.
So I agree.
Yeah, for Claudia, I heard because mothers need a break. Because listen, I want to say this to the women around the world. First of all, women are the backbone of society. Women, are the backbones of the world. We are nothing without women. And I just want to celebrate all women today. I do it every day in my life, but more importantly today. And when it comes to mothers, I mean, it goes without saying, it's the most important and difficult job in the world.
And thank you.
And I give you ladies so much credit for just being somebody who brought life into the world, but also have to stay in their lives until eternity. So I think it's such a, it's like teachers. I think it's such an stated job, and to me it is a real job. So I just wanted to say happy Mother's Day to the two of you. And you two are stellar women and stellar mothers. And what was also stellar was part 1 of the Love and Marriage Detroit reunion. Okay, so raindrops, if you did not catch it on Saturday, please go on the OWN app to watch it. Okay, but let's get right into it. Dustin and Claudia, they're caught up as well. So I'm gonna have Dustin and Claudia ask y'all some questions about it because I know everything. But I do want to start with you, Dr. Thompson.
Yes.
I find you so fascinating. Ever since I got the casting tape and you appeared on screen, you remind me so much of so many women in Detroit. And I know for a fact that in high school, me and you would have been best friends.
Of course.
Because, you know, I love a smart baddie who's bougie. So I'm just you know, it was my thing back in the day. Shout out to Hamilton Middle School and Finney High School. But I do want to start with you first. You have this reputation where the audience thinks you are bougie. You have some who think you are a snob. You have some who think you are elitist. But I know that you are also a woman who's very smart, very together, and you are about your business. But what do you say to those people who really believe those things about you?
I mean, I feel like people can have their own opinion and perception, and it really doesn't bother me because I mean I've had that when I was in school. When I was in high school, some people thought I was bougie. I have family that even thought the same thing. But I was brought up in a family that I got the best of both worlds. I got to see a lot. And I always go back to my grandfather that wanted to see us do more and be more, and along with my parents as well. And, he would take us to the Fox Theater to go to plays when we were 5 and 6 year old, and dressed us up, and we were wearing the fur coats and everything at 5 and 6. He's like, you're going to appreciate the arts. You're going to appreciate these things because you may not always have that ability. I want you to have that ability. So I don't find it to be just bougie. I think I like nice things, and I think that's okay. And why is that to be bougie? So, I mean, it's completely fine, but you're entitled to your opinion. You don't know me, so.
I don't think it's an insult to be called bougie. I like being called bougie.
Whatever.
I like a little bit of that. And you can mix it up. Of course, not being one note and one dimensional, because who really is, right? But like, if you are a girl that likes the finer things, like, what's wrong with that? And as long as you can also be relatable to the commoners that are beneath you, doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with being a little bougie? I'm not mad at that.
Listen, it is completely fine. And first of all, you got to learn there's different crowds for different people. You turn it on and off for whoever you're around, and I can turn it on and off if I need to. I work in the city, and so my patients relate to me, and on all levels. So it's really okay. It doesn't bother me not one bit.
Yeah. So go ahead, Carlos. No, go ahead, Carlos.
No, I just want to say one more thing with Kimberly, and then Dustin, Claudia, y'all can take the floor. So Kimberly is our newest cast member of Love and Marriage Detroit. We get into this conversation part 2 of the reunion. But what's interesting about Kimberly is when we were, gratefully greenlit for a second season, excuse me, I'm like, I want to add somebody to the cast. I feel like as a producer of shows, you always want to look at your cast as like a pot of gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's special ingredients to make sure. Did I say that word right?
You didn't, but that's okay.
That's okay.
No,
you know what's so funny?
We keep it real over here. It's okay.
You know what's funny? I caught myself because Teresa Giudice, when I worked with her on Jersey Housewives, she said ingredients, and it was such a joke that I also said it too. So, okay. That's why I caught myself like, wait a second. Am I Teresa Giudice? Okay, fine. There's special ingredients.
Charles, you're very happy today. You had a good weekend, didn't you?
You missed it, Claudia, because you was too busy studying. I rested all weekend.
Is that what we're calling
Alone.
it? Is that
Alone. Thank you very
much.
much.
With the shirt with 3 buttons open, real like just I don't know, real chipper. Like I don't think you were resting by yourself. Maybe someone was resting in it, but I don't think you was resting by yourself. Absolutely not. Not with that smile. Look at your chest all out, titties out.
You see all of them. All the
right? All 33. I can listen, Carl. I see right you had company.
I promise you. I was alone this weekend. I'll tell you everything. Anyways, back to my question. Kimberly is the newest addition to the Love and Marriage Detroit cast. And I felt like Kimberly added something super special and spicy to this group. So, Kimberly, how has your experience been being on the show?
So, if I could be 1,000% transparent, it's everything I thought it would be, but everything I thought it would be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot, right? But I think for me, like filming was one thing, right? Like that was, to me, it was hard, but it was the easy part. It's dealing with once everybody else starts to watch it, like, and I'm like, child, I'm over this. What are we talking about? Like, huh? So having to like relive certain things is like, okay, so that has been an experience, but I'm a Detroit girl through and through, that's my line. And so I'm very tough. So, it wasn't anything that, oh my God, I'm going to cry in the corner. Like, I'm not.
Does it feel like it was like the worst part of it is, a lot of times you resolve things or things aren't as bad when you're actually filming it, right?
Yeah.
And when, 3-4 months later, however long it is, I don't know what the turnaround time is on your show.
Yeah.
But when it comes out, reliving it and also considering the comments of the peanut gallery, the fans and your friends that chime in and say, I can't believe they said that. And they make the old wounds that you've probably gotten past.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is the part that was a lot for me. Mm-hmm. But I will say I loved having an opportunity to see myself and to see things even about myself that I want to correct or that I've already corrected, but just like, okay, like, oh, okay. But honey, I loved seeing myself on TV overweight because I was like, baby, never again. Baby, never again. You ain't gotta worry. That's what you will never have to worry about. I said, who is that? Mm-hmm. I was looking at the TV like, who is that? That ain't me. I don't know who that is.
Yes, TV will get you together. You like, and also you look bigger on camera. Like, like don't be as hard on yourself because it doesn't. You still look great.
So so it was a lot, but overall, I don't regret it. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful to have met you, Carlos, and Dustin, and you, Claudia, and working with my sister Toya and all the cast. It's been a great journey. So I'm really grateful, and I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy I did it.
Well, you fit right in with the cast, Kimberly. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that was apparent from your first moment on screen. There was obviously roots that existed within you and the group. That kind of made you just a natural fit. So that was refreshing for us viewers to see. Mm-hmm. In this reunion in part 1, I think which it was great, first of all. So kudos to both of you ladies for a job well done, right? And everybody looked great. It was just great to see you guys together as a cast. You all looked great together as an ensemble. And what I like most about the two of you is this leadership quality, right, that exists within both of you. It's exemplified through the work you do professionally, the way that you show up in your families, in your homes, and especially the way that you show up on this cast. So it made sense that you all have found this sisterhood, with each other amongst this cast. I also see that same leadership quality replicated in Christina. And I do know that you, Kimberly, and Christina have a history of friendship, ups and downs, the real parts of friendship, right? But there's an issue, there's an impasse, there's a break there in the relationship between you, Dr. Thompson, and Christina, and you as well, Kimberly and Christina. Let's just ask the $1 million question, right? What is it going to take for you all to make the trifecta that we all want to see, right? And just run the damn show. What is the issue that is causing the break in the bridge? I would like to know that from both of you.
Well, do you really want to see a trifecta?
Yes.
You do?
And so now that we've established that, what's the issue? Yes.
I mean, honestly, I don't. For me,
Mm-hmm.
Kim and Christina have obviously a long history. Me and Christina never had that. And I'm the type of person, especially being my big age. I got, my friends that I'm close with. Not to say that I could not develop a new relationship or a friendship. I'm open to that. But as you get older, you have that the trust that you have gained with people that you have been around. I'm not always so easy to let people in, and I don't think Christina is either.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not opposed to it. There's things that obviously I've said even on the show that I did not like as far as qualities and how she has treated people in the past,
Mm-hmm.
based on what I have seen. Has she treated me in a certain manner, in a manner in which relates to the show? Yes. But as far as us getting close and being close, we've never had that opportunity.
And you don't desire it at all.
I won't say no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be. I would be. I don't think it would be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't really have feelings about it.
Okay.
If it happened, fine. If it didn't, it's no sweat off my back. But I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but it's not something that I'm trying to search into. I'm not trying to search it out.
Is there like one major thing that you can pinpoint that was like, okay, I don't really rock with her? Because I do know when you do film these shows, it is super uncomfortable when you have to be around people that you don't like. I would hate going into a scene where there's someone there that you don't. It's just so much more comfortable when you kind of get along, or you're even at neutral, right?
Right.
And then it's also hard because, again, like we spoke earlier, the chit chat of the people in the comments, making it where you, even if you wanted to move on, you worried about what people gonna say. Oh, you being soft, hold her accountable, or don't go back, you're flip-flopping. But like, for your own mental health, wouldn't it be better to like get along on set? And can you tell us, is there one thing that was like the thing that put her over the top where you didn't really like her?
Well, I would say there's not, like, I can be around Christina. I don't have an issue with her. We've never had like, oh, this one thing is, what it was, and this is why I don't like you. No, I saw how she treated Kobe in season 1, and I didn't like it. And then that just confirmed things that people have said about her in the past. And so I'm like, do I want to develop a relationship with somebody that is doing something like this to somebody that's close to her? That doesn't seem cool to me. So we can be in the same space, not a problem, because we are both adults. I'm not even uncomfortable being in the same space as her, because there's no issue. But as far as developing a relationship, it definitely would be something that I would have to see something from her for me to be like, okay. Because every time even after last season, it's like we ended all on a good note. But then, there's, different interviews and things of that nature, and you saying something totally different than what we had ended on. So that's the type of thing I don't like. Like, it comes to the social media world and the comments and whatnot, I'm like, girl, where's that from? Like, I thought we were moving forward, but you are saying something totally different in your lives or in your interviews with other people. So, and this is not something I'm going to search out because I don't care. Of course, people send stuff to you, right? But like, for me, that's just like, be real. That's all I'm saying. Be real. And if it's something that we are going to do, then I think it will definitely be effort on both ends. And I'm sure she will want to see something from me as well. So I'm not saying it's all on her, but I'm not uncomfortable around her at all.
Dr. Thompson, what kind of negative comments and things did you see Christina saying in her interviews and comments on social media that made you feel that way, that there was a difference in what she presented as or show up to you as in person?
There was a couple of comments that I had saw in a post that someone else had made where she was just trying to basically say that me and Anthony were coming for her. And Like for what? Like leave me alone. And she was perpetuating this idea about, and first of all, one thing about me, and I think everyone on our cast can say the same thing. You don't come from my job, my business. You don't come from my family. You don't come from my man. And so I get real bothered. Anthony can stand 10 tones down for himself, and it doesn't bother him. But like you're perpetuating this idea about my husband of being disrespectful or whatever you want to call it on certain things. And I'm like, you know the real, you know what really happened. And you know Anthony. First of all, you knew Anthony before me. So don't do that. And so I don't like that. But then, later, oh, we good. We get to premiere and all that good stuff. We all good. Oh, okay. But that's not what you were saying in them comments. That's not what's saying in your interviews. So which one is it? Are you going to what your viewers are saying and what your fan base is saying because you need clickbait? Or, what are we? So, because I don't like that. That's my thing. Either or.
Okay, so, Kimberly.
So
what's your take?
Dustin is shaking the table.
We're getting answers today. These are real relationships. And I admire these people on screen. I enjoy these stories. So I just want to
Dustin is a huge fan of the show. And it's funny because Dustin, I'm listening to the answers like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how we find out. That's what makes these lives so great. We get to hear, everybody gets a voice. And so that's what makes it so great. Yeah.
Good to know. Go ahead, Dustin Ross.
Right. So for me, it's a little different because we have a long past, right? Like we had a severed relationship and we ultimately had to rebuild our relationship on camera. There's a lot that, of course, can't make the show. So, but we talked about a lot. And even as you watch the show progress, like I felt we're doing a really good job of getting to a place of, communicating, having fun with one another. Even the reunion, like I felt like even shade, it was all in fun. Like I didn't feel at any point anything was ever below the belt or, we talked about what was on the show. We got through things and then things just went on. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like you present one thing to me and then it's a whole nother thing later on. And so for me, I'm just like, in friendship, as Toya said, at this big age, I can't do the roller coaster of I love you today, but I'm gonna shade you or in a like disrespectful way. Like she essentially, went on social media and played the victim like she wasn't coming for me on Twitter for 2 days. And so when I came back and read her in 3 tweets, now she's the victim of the year. And I'm like, but you were going in on me for 2 days and I didn't say anything. So I come back, I say 3 things. Now you want to be the victim. Which is it? Are you that girl or are you a victim? I can't figure it out. But I'm like, I wasn't saying nothing about nothing. They haven't even watched the show yet to have an opinion. And you're already trying to garner an opinion about me before the show even starts.
Why was she going in on you on Twitter?
So basically, she was calling me like a extra. Who is this person? She ain't even in the main cast photo.
The way Kobe did Chelsea.
Yeah, but like, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got a contract. I don't know who she talking about. Like, so I let this go on for days. Like, what is all this she claims she's done for me? And it's like, come on now. Like, we were really good friends. So let's not do that. And so I said 3 things. I tweeted 3 things, and I guess that just,
what were your tweets? Come on, share.
Claudia.
I simply said,
I'm just asking journalists. I'm trying to get the full picture.
So I simply because she basically said, like, she's not an influencer. Like, I didn't know she was, like, all of these things. And I'm like, Christina, what are you talking about? Like, you were there at the beginning when I first started my brand. You're in the videos. Like, you're on the YouTube videos, when I had my show, and like you were a part of all, like, what are you talking about? So the first thing I did, I posted a receipt of her being my stylist in one of my videos. And so then she's like, this ain't no receipt, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, well, honey, for somebody to be a fashion stylist for 15 years, we haven't seen you style a thing. But I digress. Like, you know, like you want to say I'm not something, but I'm not coming for you, but you're consistently coming for me. And she, you know, kept going. And so I said something about, you know, not believing her storyline. And she was like, this is who you guys are supporting. She's bashing me, you know, all of that. And I'm like, but you just bashed me for 2 days. And so I say, we don't believe your storyline. I say, you know, something about your styling career. And now I'm the worst person in the world. And so I didn't like that. And like I said, I thought we had gotten to a better place. There were some things that happened, you know, offline with us that was just, I was just kind of like, I can't, like, I'm exhausted. Like, I love my friends. I'm a fun girl. I have fun in friendship. And I just don't believe friendship should be this convoluted. It shouldn't be much work to be friends. And so it's like, if you don't want to be my friend, girl, that's fine. Like I said what I said on the show, baby steps. So I'm comfortable with being in the same room. Clearly, we filmed a whole season together, but I just want her to be authentic when it comes to me and when it comes to, you know, our conversations, you know, so it's just like, I like to Toya's earlier point, the online version of her is completely different from the real life version. And that is, it's kind of difficult for me.
What do you say to the critics that are in the comments that's saying like you guys ganging up on Christina? What is it? Have you heard that before?
Yeah, and I'm like, nobody's ganging up on her. Like nobody's ganging up on her. I just think that everyone has their own experience with her. I can't speak to LaToya's experience. I can't speak to Kobe's experience. I can only speak to mine. And in all of our conversations, even on the show, I never brought them up one time. I only spoke on my issues with her. And once we got past that, I'm like, let's move forward. And I was genuine about that. I sincerely was like, okay, let's move forward. Like she said at the staycation, like the love was always there. And in that moment, I genuinely believed her, like, because me and her never had the major falling out. It was always other things. And, you know, to the point I was just like, I can't. It's just a lot. So
two things, right? Two things. Number one, Kimberly, you and Dr. Thompson both said the same thing. We never really had a fallout with her. We just feel this way based on these.
Oh, no. Let me rephrase that. Then.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a very specific reason why I stopped fooling with her. And because there's only so many times, you know, we extend grace as Christians. It's our job to extend grace and, you know, to love people where they are. And I feel like I always do that with all my friends. But when you start trying to make people think things about me that are not true, or trying to manipulate situations to get people to, you know, think the way you think as opposed to their own experiences with me, then I have a problem with that. So the reason why we fell out, you know, she knows why, we talked about it, and I was done, because at that point I'm like, I've never done anything to Christina for her to have such strong feelings about me. You get what I'm saying? Completely. So I you know, it's like, I don't want to be friends with somebody that don't like me. I'm not into the frenemy thing. So if you really don't like me, then we don't have to be friends. We can be, you know, associates. We can kiki, you know, I can kiki with anybody. But will we have kumbaya moments and deep rooted conversations? Probably not, because I don't have that level of trust to share my deepest, darkest anything with her, because she has shown me that that's not the type of relationship she desires to have with me.
So I want to get into, Dr. Thompson, one of my favorite moments of part one is when you chin check Brandon. Because listen, what I love about Love and Marriage Detroit, and it's what Kimberly, you outlined, and Dr. Thompson, you outlined, you know, the husbands it's like Huntsville in the sense of the husbands have the majority of the history. And when it comes to the ladies, the longest history as of now was between Kimberly and Christina, and the Christina and Colby have their own history. But fundamentally, the guys have known each other the longest period of time. And that's similar to Huntsville, which is what attracted me to this cast too, just that level of authenticity. So Brandon made a joke about your corks from your wine, right? And for those who don't know, Dr. Thompson also has a wine company called Opulence. Can you tell them where they can buy some, child, so they can support you?
Sure, online. You can always get it from opulencewine.com. But if you're in the city, I am in all the specialty Myers that are in southeastern Michigan.
I miss Myers. I miss Myers so much. I did not mean to cut you off, but I miss Myers 50 acres so much.
But I mean, you can find it pretty much in a lot of restaurants and stores in Metro Detroit.
So when Brandon made that comment, did you feel like it's one thing for the guys to jones each other, and did you feel like it was off limits for you to catch a stray when he talked about your corks to your husband Anthony?
I mean, for sure. I mean, Brandon was trying to make Anthony bother, but which he should know that's not going to bother Anthony at all, because we're very, very strong in our relationship, and that's not going to hurt his feelings. It didn't hurt my feelings in the sense of, you're talking about my brand. It was a principle. Like, why are you coming for me trying to get at him? I've never said anything about Christina singing, her multiple businesses that she has started and not finished. But, what is it for me? Have I said that Star Factory has not came out with any stars? No, I haven't said that. But you coming for me. And
wait, you just did.
I did right now.
You just read them down. You're like, did I say she can't sing? Did I say no stars came up? Did I say
exactly? I did it right now. But in that moment, I said nothing to him. I had never said anything about him and his brands. And so for me, it's like, what did I do to you? And for a person that worked very hard on their brand, building it from the ground up to develop a wine, especially as a Black woman, not easy. So I did take offense to it, but it's, again, the principle of it was for what? Was it to get at Anthony? And for him, he would say, well, he was saying how much, did I spend on my wife? But you asked, Brandon.
Yeah.
You asked. So Anthony responded. But then you come to try to talk about a wine that you don't even drink. You have not supported my brand. Bravo has. It's in all of his businesses. So thank you, Bravo. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting, but it is what it is. And
do you think some of your not beefs, but like some of the like shots that come your way is because maybe sometimes your husband rubs people the wrong way on the show?
Sure.
Okay, I'm trying to your man be talking a little bit of shit sometimes, right?
He does. As he would say, he from Joy Road Exit 9. So listen, so y'all play the dozens, y'all did all of that. Brandon can't play the dozens. None of them can. So they get mad when he throws shots back, and that's what he does. I totally understand how. Honestly, when me and Anthony got married, you're not funny. You're not funny.
He is hilarious.
Funny, but it's not funny. But everybody in my family thought he was hilarious. I'm like, you're not funny. But, I get it. And I do know that he does rub some people the wrong way by some of the things he said. And I've checked Anthony on some of the things he said. And that has been shown on the show as well. For the ones that say, I don't take accountability, or I haven't checked my own husband about certain things, I definitely have. So, I think it's interesting, but again, it's fine. Brandon did say that he did apologize, and we did talk about that. He did. It didn't make it right, but he did apologize. So, and I accept his apology for that.
You did. Okay, so next week is part 2 of the Love and Marriage Detroit reunion. And what we get into this Saturday is we dive into Kimberly's marriage. We also dive into Kimberly's relationship with Christina. And there is a surprise, well, not surprise guest. Chelsea comes out at part 2 reunion, and there is a surprise moment between Chelsea and Anthony. So you gotta watch part 2 because you will not believe your eyes what happened. But Kimberly and Dr. Thompson, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being a part of this cast. I listen, you guys represent Detroit so beautifully, wonderfully. You rep for the city, and the show to me really does highlight the city, but also highlights some of the most successful people in the town as well. So I thank you too and your husband for joining.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us,
ladies.
Yes.
Yes. Love and Marriage Detroit, Saturday, part 2 reunion, 8 o'clock, 7 Central on OWN. Make sure y'all go to opulenceWine.com to buy not Kimberly's, Lord Jesus, Dr. Thompson's wine. But Kimberly's, there anything you want to promote before I let you go, babe?
Well, I heard you before we joined talk about the prenup thing, and you said,
you
said I could see Kimberly redlining a prenup. So I'm just going to give you a little tea. I'm preparing to go to law school.
Congratulations, Kimberly. That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah.
Kimberly and Dr. Thompson, did y'all sign prenups?
I did not, but we did talk about postnup recently. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll do it, but we have talked about it.
Okay, season 3 storyline. What about you, Dr. Thompson?
No, we did not sign one. We did not.
Would you sign a postnup?
I don't think so.
No, once you in. Fuck them.
Yeah, 17 years in. We got a lot to take through. I mean, I get it. I understand it. But we are 3 core strong. I get it. I do. And I don't knock it for anybody that does it.
Yeah.
But for us, I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay. I love that. Love that. All right. Well, thank you two for joining us so much. And remember, guys, Love and Marriage Detroit, part 2 reunion this Saturday, 8 o'clock, 7 Central on OWN. I love you too. Dr. Thompson, Kimberly, happy Mother's Day again.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Claudia and Dustin are so... Oh my God.
We had some things to discuss. Yeah, we had some shit to talk about though, because it was just, if you watch, then you understand. So hopefully that encouraged other people to tune in and get to know these stories, man, because as you can see, it's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of angst with them. Like it's a lot of some of the stuff is like, I'm not going to trivialize and say petty, but they're not huge issues. But things
No.
And it's like some of you like, but that's why I was asking the question about reality TV and filming and comments. Seems like that magnifies everything. Because nothing I heard tonight was a severe violation of,
you better stop or I'll fuck your husband.
Not like the hoes on Housewives. So let's get into that. Sorry, Colin.
Is that our
segue?
A segue? Is that what we doing? Okay, fine. All right. So look, Raindrops. We are here to talk about the most recent episode 10, I believe. Yes, episode 10. It was called Meditation and Mediation, I believe was the episode title of the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Before we get started with our recap and diving into the conversation, I will say this. This was my favorite episode of the season. I love this episode. And the reason why I love this episode is because every scene mattered. When I say mattered, it was nice to see Kelly with her girls.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Angela and her investments properties and really speak about being in debt, $2 million in debt based on her investments. Like that honesty, I appreciate it. And obviously we get into the other conversations, but in terms of this episode, it was my favorite for those reasons. But I want to start off by talking about let's just get into it. It's the scene that sort of kicked off this episode, which was
Oh.
because I am being told that my facial expressions give a lot away, and I am gonna have on my shade glasses so that it can hide.
You need a layer.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Bro, tons of it. Okay, fall weather gap. Okay, look. Shamea met with Ralph. Ralph is Drew Sidora's estranged husband who lives in the basement. They are going through a divorce. On top of that, Porsha also walked in, and I'm being very honest when I say this. It was hard to watch that scene. It was hard to watch it because it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. I'm being very honest. It didn't feel good to watch it because one thing I've learned producing the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 6, and this is coming from an openly gay man who has never been married.
Okay.
But one thing that I've learned from season 6, and obviously later in life creating Love and Marriage franchise, is the sanctity of marriage and how when it comes to married couples, there is this sort of rule you have when you are interfacing with someone's wife or husband. And the reason why I brought up season 6 is because that was a season where Phaedra and Kenya had this big beef about Kenya texting Apollo. Now, to Apollo's credit, years later, on my podcast, thank you very much, he admitted that he lied, that Kenya wanted him. He admitted he lied, right? So Kenya's been vindicated. Now, when it comes to Kenya texting him regardless, and Kenya admitted on camera she was wrong for texting him in hindsight, and she texted him, thank you, babe, I think it was. I learned through that season how you just can't on camera, off camera be seen with someone's husband. And I remember us going to Mexico, and Phaedra told Kenya she wanted to slap, was it the dog piss out of her mouth or something, Dustin or Claudia?
I forgot.
Because in Mexico, her and Candy walked in and she saw Kenya and Apollo talking.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Right? And I was there for that. So to watch that scene in this recent episode, it was hard for me to watch because of the history of it. And on top of the fact that, let's have a real conversation, we know that Porsha is not happy with Drew based on Drew filming with Dennis. So yeah, it was hard to watch. But we'll love to get your thoughts on it.
Shame on Shamea and Porsha, and I actually like Shamea. I do. That then play in our faces like they met up and Porsha happened to stop by. No, y'all were best friends. Y'all calculated that. Y'all set that up. We're gonna go film a scene with Ralph to pay back Drew. I will say this: the difference between the two groups is when Drew and Dennis are filming, we see them in a music and working capacity for the most part, right? Like I ain't seen them trashing. They're not dragging Porsha. I've not seen that. But the entire lunch with Shamea, Porsha, and Ralph was dragging Drew. So you can't be, I think Porsha would have been better served if she never did this. And then, she could stand on business about, I really stand on the fact that I don't want you filming with my ex. I think it's wrong. Because to then go and film with someone who's current estranged husband, you just canceled out your complaint. Actually, you made yourself look worse. And I think she could have done without that scene. I think she did herself no favors in that scene. It was messy. It was mean. And it was like plain in our face, like, oh, I didn't know. And, I just felt like they set that up for payback. And let's just call it what it is, and Ralph, I'm going to speak to you, Ralph. Dennis isn't letting Drew talk. She's not talking greasy about Porsha to Dennis. That's not happening, right? But with Ralph, that is the mother of your kids. You may not like her anymore, be in love with her anymore, with Drew anymore, but that is still the mother of your kids. And you're meeting up with basically her ops at this point, and you're allowing the shit talking about the mother of your kids. And I think that was real raggedy, Ralph. I think that was whack. And I too was like, oh, this doesn't feel good. It did not feel good to me.
Yeah, I think what did not feel good about the scene was the dishonesty about the intention of it, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it ain't that deep. Porsha, you mad at Drew because she filmed with Dennis, so you filmed with Ralph to get her back. Yes. Full stop. It was that simple, right? I think that, and okay, Shamea said that she was meeting up with Ralph to discuss his podcast or something or whatever he had coming up. I've been
his podcast called Kings and Queens Court, I believe, something along those lines.
I wish him much success. As a person who has been podcasting for over 10 years, I won an NAACP Image Award for podcasting, and not in the shit talking category. I won in the best news and information category. So as a legitimate voice in the podcasting space, they didn't discuss anything about producing a podcast at that table. Yeah. And I think that is the part that fell a little flat with the viewers. Also, Shamea setting that up so that Porsha could come film with Ralph, it doesn't help with the allegations that she is incessantly appearing in a supportive role or supportive capacity in her friendship with Porsha. That's why people say that shit, because you do things like allow her, at least in our view, to go unscathed with being disrespectful to you about your song, to Shamea about her song, and just not being a what most people consider a good friend to be. But then Shamea eagerly stepped right into the mess and set up a dinner with Ralph and filmed with him. Porsha was at that dinner table moving Ralph's fingers, and it was different things that she was doing to directly antagonize Drew. And I ain't mad about it, because if that's where they're at in their relationship, so be it. But just say that shit. It would have been so much better to see Porsha in her confessionals like, her ass was filming with my baby daddy, I'm finna go film with Ralph, we going to dinner. And then she sat down and her and Shamea ordered all that food and them drinks and they laughed. Just stand in it. We all know what it was. Like, just stand in it. That's where I was at with it. And Ralph, since we're speaking about Ralph, think about, sometimes you have to zoom out and look at the big picture. Ralph is on this show in a subordinate capacity. He's Drew's estranged husband. His only experience getting to the attention that the cameras from the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Bravo bring to people is if he is presented or appearing in some capacity connected to Drew. Right now, they ain't fucking with each other. He's in the basement, she's upstairs. The only chance he gets to talk about anything on camera is if he's talking about her. What better position as an op than to link up with her other ops and do it on camera? My thing is just stand in it and say it. Y'all not meeting to discuss no damn podcast. Y'all meeting up because all of y'all, including Shamea, you know what I'm saying? They really don't fuck with Drew like that. And so my thing is just say it. That's it.
I have to agree with you, and you hit the nail on the head. I think if on the onslaught, right? If Shamea and Porsha devised this scheme and had a very girlfriend moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, and would have been silly with it. Like, let's dress up as like private investigators wearing all black with our glasses on. You know what I mean? I think to your point, Dustin, if the intention of the scene was payback's a bitch, call me karma, I think we all would be like, all right, y'all being petty. If this is Housewives, let's be petty. I actually agree with you. I think if it was colored to be seen as on the nose, it is what it is. You filming my mom, I think we all would have been like, all right, then go ahead. I actually agree with you with that, because to talk, I don't mean to laugh, but to have Ralph and Shamea say we're meeting about a podcast because Shamea appeared on one episode of a podcast, I think it was insulting the intelligence of the audience. And if it was what we just said it was, I think they would have been more forgiving for it.
Yeah, that was corny. And I didn't see that one moment of magic between Shamea and Ralph that would make me want to tune into a podcast with them. I'm sorry.
I like Shamea's speaking voice. I want to hear more of it. I think she has one of the most beautiful speaking voices, and she can sing her ass off.
She does.
And she don't sound like Drew, who can sing too, but they have distinctly different voices, Porsha.
She doesn't. And I do like her for the most part, but I don't like the way she's been moving the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I guess we gave her so much credit for being so much more like above this, you know, being the wife, being stable, being a very much a support system for Porsha throughout all the years, being actually wealthy, actually having the things, not having to rent the clothes and all that kind of stuff. She has the things, like everything that should have set her up to be a good housewife, but it didn't take very long for her to get put back in this box. And I'm sure it's frustrating for Shamea to get this lapdog label. Nobody wants that label, but you're not helping yourself when I guess we all want, like, we're rooting for you, Shamea, like, you know, like the Tyra Banks clip. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Like, I think it would have made her look so dope and so powerful to still be a friend to Porsha, but to hold her accountable and say, hey, friend, if we're going to do it, like y'all said, be intentional, make it a thing, be funny with it. But to play in our faces and be like, I think Porsha said something like, oh, Shamea was meeting with him and I came by, girl, bye.
You're right.
Go play with your mama, don't play with us, because we're not stupid. And it's very obvious. Like, if me and my friend were going to do a scene, we would text each other what we're going to do and like, okay, you go first, and I'll pop up and act like I just came to meet you for drinks. We're not dumb. This is season 16. We've seen shenanigans before, and I think that was really whack. And I really think the worst person in that scene was Ralph. Dropping tea about his wife, messing with Ty, allegedly. And then, oh, he lied, by the way, about him filing for divorce. Because if you go look up the divorce papers, guess who's listed as the petitioner?
Drew.
Exactly. So guess what petitioner means? Ladies and gentlemen, petitioner is the one who instigates the divorce. The respondent is the one who responds. So you said that you filed first. Ralph.
But see, Claudia, remember that though, the day that happened, there was a joke online about them racing to the courthouse to file first, and everybody remembers Drew getting there first. So I was kind of confused by him saying that as well in that scene, because we're fans of this show. That was news directly related to what's going on with the show, and we remember that. So I was like, dog, like,
she beat him though.
Claudia, the journalist. Okay, so the thing is, Claudia, so call me B. Arthur. Okay. So.
Where do these how many you have not wardrobe changes on the show?
He got that drawer of glasses like Sanford and Son. Remember Red Fox used to open that drawer with all them glasses in it. That's it.
I love a safe prop. Okay, so Claudia, apparently you have done your research. So do you know what time Drew filed first? Do you have the documents handy?
I don't have the time, but I also have some more tea because I actually called Drew before we went on the air. That's why I was late getting it together. And I said, Drew, tell me what's good. Like, did you mess with Dennis? What's up with this whole Dennis piece? And she said, no. And I asked Dennis to clear this up. She said, remember when Ralph said that Dennis gave Dennis his blessing to work?
Yeah.
Right. She said the actual text, and the reason why Porsha didn't actually show the real text, she just kind of was reading, but you don't see it, was because it actually said, I'm not trying to fuck Drew. I'm trying to get the money. But Porsha read it out of context to make it seem like, nah, like I'm turning her down for sex. Nah, I'm just trying to get to the money. That's what Drew said. She has screenshots of it. And she was trying to, show me on FaceTime. So maybe that comes up at the reunion. Maybe that comes up in your interview tomorrow. I'm sorry. I want you to interview her. I'm sorry. Whenever that happens, I need you to ask her for this. Like we get her and Porsha, but she told me that that's what the actual text was, not a half-ass mischaracterization of what was said. So that's what a liar does, though. Okay. And that's been very effective on lots of reality shows throughout the years. What people will do is take 10, 15, 20% of the truth, even 50% of the truth, and we'll have part of a text. But if you read it out of context, it can mean anything. I need to see the entire conversation, and that's how you know who's really full of shit.
Well, why she say she ain't never kissed a girl and then said she kissed a girl on the show too?
Well, she probably did lie about that.
Yeah. Bravo is good for running that beautiful B footage. You know what I'm saying? They run right to it every time.
Yeah.
You kissed a girl? I've never kissed a girl. And we'd be like, Drew.
Right.
because I love her on this show, but
Yeah.
it just the waters get a little murky when it comes to accuracy and honesty over there. That's all.
Right.
No,
maybe she wasn't ready to be outed, and we have just like we respect
I respect it.
Our gay brothers, maybe she wasn't ready to be outed as a, as the L. You know what I'm saying?
Which we don't know if she is or not.
I'm not saying she is.
We don't know that. So
yeah, I do want to touch on that briefly too, because listen, we're not here to out anybody. That's.
And I don't think she's a lesbian. I'm not calling her a lesbian.
No. I know you're not. No.
Right.
I want to talk about the comment that I was saying, not for you, Claudia. I was saying that based on what was aired and what Ralph said. Watching Ralph in that scene, it's evident that he doesn't like Drew anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was that there's several reasons why that scene was hard to watch. Ralph's disdain for his wife, and it's evident that he just does not like her. Now, look, I don't know who Drew is at home, right? I don't know who she is as a wife or mother. Obviously, Ralph knows more about his current wife, they're still married legally, than we all do. But I think for me, it was hard to watch him mention that, yeah, I divorced her because she allegedly was with Ty, who is Mimi Faust's ex, who is currently on Basketball Wives as Ming Lee's girlfriend or estranged girlfriend. And
what started on Ty's opportunistic ass, okay? Trying to go from reality show to reality show to just be in scenes with different people on different shows. And Ty, I don't care if you get mad about me saying this, because I already said it before, and I'm saying it with my whole chest. You're just taller than me and you got muscles, but we ain't gonna be at the same parties. I'm just saying, you are going from different reality shows to be with different people, and I would be a little bit side-eyeing that situation right there as well. So I'm sorry, Carlos, but I have strong feelings about that. I told Mimi about Ty the moment I first met her. I didn't have a good feeling about her, and I just think she's very opportunistic. Like, every girlfriend and man, everybody you mess with is like on TV. Really? Okay, sorry. And I digress. Sorry, my bad. It's true. So allegedly Drew, now Ming Lee. Who else? Mimi. That's 3 in like how many years? Now, if I was with 3 basketball players, y'all call me the biggest hoe. Y'all do call me the biggest hoe. And I had sex since, damn, not in 2025, in 2024. Okay. Keep the same energy, that's all I'm saying. Opportunistic time. Freaky time. Yep. Shoot a shot at the basket and at the pussies. Back to back.
So Claudia, Dustin, I was waiting for you to.
Claudia's best friends with Mimi, man. That's how she feels. She got to say how she feels.
I know Dustin. I'll just listen, Dustin. Yeah. This is like the
That's
Lakers.
Women shit. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's women shit. I'm staying completely out of that, bro. You already know.
They say Claudia might have to ask Britt for her pistol so she don't get me.
First of all, move on. Y'all are. We won't be involving that. So look, I wanted to bring this up. Claudia Spitfire Jordan, honey, receipts. Maybe you are. What I really am intrigued when they flash back to Drew saying, "Wow, okay." So Ralph says, "Sorry guys, I have a scatterbrain. Claudia just took me to a whole nother world, and I'm in Pluto with Gayle King, and I need to get back down to Earth."
First
Jeff
of all, that
Bezos,
was a scam and a lie. They did not.
Jeff Bezos, send the spaceship. Okay. I'm back on Earth. Thank you, Gayle King and Katy Perry. All right, look. Okay, I'm back. So when Ralph intimated that he filed for divorce because Drew was allegedly messing with Ty, they did flash back to a scene of Drew saying in the middle of a sentence, because I want to make sure I give all the context. in the middle of the sentence, Drew does say she was there for me when I needed her, along those lines. It did appear that it could have been more than friends, or it could have been taken out of context because we didn't see the entire scene. So when you guys did see that, did y'all take that as confirmation or not?
100%. That confirmation I didn't even need. From my perspective, I felt like they had a relationship that was more than platonic.
I did too.
And it's no secret, she changed the subject every time they talked about it in the season 15 reunion when Drew sang on stage and Ralph came out and he said first chair at the reunion. They talked about it. Drew changed the subject. Candy spoke as plainly as she could about what she knew about it. It was what it was, Drew has been adamant about the fact that she, has not had that sort of relationship with a woman. The facts and shit we see appears to present otherwise, whatever. Sheree even said that. Remember when Sheree at that reunion, season 15, she said somebody had dropped off some copies of messages to the chateau. And they passed the messages around at the reunion and read them. And I will never forget, Candy and Kenya were looking at the damn the messages, and Kenya was like, oh, and Candy was like, do we be texting like that? Do I send you stuff like that? So everybody felt that way. Ralph came on and said that, like Claudia's made a great point earlier. Maybe Drew's not ready to talk about that part yet, but it would read better to the audience if she would say that as opposed to no, I didn't, or no, I'm not. Just say I don't want to talk about it right now, like Kyle Richards be saying. They ask Kyle all the time, you know what I'm saying? What's up with you and Morgan?
Lock it.
Are you guys fucking around or whatever? And she never says no. She never
and gets away with it. Sorry.
Slides for years. 2 years now. Slide.
Let's have a real conversation. So, I love Kyle Richards down boots, baby, but let's clock it.
So that's what it is, though. But that's also the difference. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference. Drew says no. Kyle just says when I'm ready.
Not right now.
I'm not in the community. I'm in no community, right? But when people have talked to me and educated me about it, about outing people and all that kind of stuff, like I've been told, not scolded, but told, like, yo, you leave that alone. Like if someone's not ready to say whatever, you leave it alone. And I just kind of feel like, do we need to be mindful? And I'm not saying, I never seen that scene with Drew talking about Ty before, I've heard my things that I've heard as well. But I never saw that. So I was never going to say anything about it until I saw that scene. Because to me, that scene confirmed it, right?
Yeah.
That she said it on camera. So if she said it on camera, that's something that she's okay with us knowing, right? But like, I just feel like, is there a different set of standards when it's a girl? Like, is it like, are we being extra hard on her because it's a woman?
Oh no, it's the opposite. It's the polar opposite.
Okay.
She can go ahead. She's married to a man. People perceive her as a heterosexual woman to the world. That's why there's so much scuttlebutt and conversation around her alleged bisexual tryst with Ty and whoever else she may have been involved with, right? But she can go on from that, live a very happy life with a man in a relationship. We see it replicated time and time again. If a man, however, admitted to having some sort of sexual experience with another man, he is forever. He's got the scarlet letter for the rest of his life. So it's the opposite. No,
I agree with what you're saying with that part. Sure, 1,000%. Once a man, I definitely work with people that are definitely never been comfortable with that. I get it.
You get it.
I mean, as far as us like forcing her to admit it, like, no, you
mean in the constructs of reality television?
Yeah,
right?
Saying you need to say it. I totally agree with what you're saying, Dustin. About when a man admits to that, he has a scarlet letter for the rest of his life, and there's a lot of women that I'll never date a guy that's bisexual. I get all that. But I'm saying, as far as like really being pressed to admit it, we want you to tell us and admit it on television, in this reality show. Do you think, like, as I hear a lot of people talking about this with this scandal?
No, and I'll say this to you. Dustin did a very good point of explaining the juxtaposition between Kyle Richards and what is being said about Drew, right? Gotcha. Now, in Drew's big defense, we have not seen Drew and Ty photographed together, hanging out backstage at Ty's.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Kyle and Morgan have been seen together in very intimate settings. And let's have a real conversation here. Kyle did a music video with Morgan where they simulated kissing and were this close and never touching lips. So in Drew's defense, that wasn't the case. And I think that's the difference, Claudia, as you asked a really good question. The reason why we as the audience is like, Kyle, if you are lesbian, that is your choice. But you're going to stop playing our faces.
Oh, she's taunting, like kind of toying with you.
It appears that way. The music video is simulating it. It was sort of like, what are you doing here? And y'all got matching tattoos together. Claudia, they were filming together. They talked about how they first met. And I think that's the reason why we wanted more. I think the thing with Drew, and that's why I was like, Ralph, if that is your truth, you guys are on a reality show, that's fine. But I think when you are exposing anyone's sexuality, whether it's a woman or a man or a they, it is dangerous territory because that is that own person's comfortability to be able to do it. And I'm not going to go dark here, but a lot of bad things can happen to a person who's not ready to say that, regardless of what y'all may talked about, because he said out of his own mouth, she said it to me, Ralph, bro, it's a difference that she said it to you and not the world.
And
so
wasn't that divorce more? Weren't they having problems before those allegations about him disappearing? Or was it Florida? Or like all that?
Yeah.
And he's trying to act like that's what made them. Most men, and he seems like the guy that'd be like, "Oh, I'm with this. Let me jump in." You know, if that's the case. But like, wasn't he missing and doing a lot of fuck shit before that?
They came onto the show with very obvious issues in their marriage that they were vulnerable enough and brave enough to share with us, right? So that was not the straw that broke the camel's back from the viewer's perspective, but Ralph definitely said that was the reason why he filed, which was the very direct question that Shamea asked him. So for him, maybe that was it. You know what I'm saying? I also think that Ralph, it fell so it just did not land well with the viewers, and I think it was because Ralph was obviously motivated by, you know, he was coming from a place of it being like, this is my time to say what I got to say. Because Drew's not letting me film. I don't have anything else, any other reason to film. They invited me here. I'm about to say what I have to say. And that's why his guns were really blazing during that conversation. And it's a sad way to go out to me. But that's what I believe that I saw.
It's one thing when you don't have kids like together, like, you know, Porsha and Simon, right? Or whatever, right? It's one thing when you don't have kids, but then when you have kids and like you're on TV and a medium that's going to live forever, right? Honestly, kids can access social media and all that kind of stuff and see your dad saying this about their mom, when I'm sure the mom has not had a chance to have that kind of conversation with those babies. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that was just kind of stank. I didn't like that, Ralph. I like, you know, you're playing nasty now. There's other ways to handle this, I think.
Yeah, no, hurt people hurt others, and that's what I got from it. I want to transition into Angela Oakley. Okay, so Angela Oakley has several investment properties, and one of them she invited Porsha to play tennis because she said that because Porsha made that comment about, you know, the husband situation, she didn't want her to come to her house, right? Which to me, I was like, that's funny. Hilarious. I thought that was funny, right? And that to me is like fun shade. So I really thought that was hilarious. So they're playing tennis, and in this moment, Angela decides to sit Porsha down and really talk to her about her friend Shamea. Angela decided to reveal that she, Drew, and Shamea had a conversation where Shamea mentioned some of the issues that she does have with Porsha. In this conversation, Angela told Porsha that Shamea is mad at you for not attending her wedding. And not only that you supposedly did not want her to join the show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, which, by the way, I love it when shows break the fourth wall. Yes. Because we as the audience, we're savvy enough to know, like, give us all the information so that we're able to really understand the root of it. Porsha breaks down in tears, cover her face with a fan, and decides to leave. Dustin and Claudia, what were your thoughts on that entire exchange?
First of all, great scene. Angela was holding court literally on that tennis court, running the show. Shout out to my friend Carrie. It's Carrie on Twitter who said that RHOA, and it stands for Real Housewives, Oakley, Angela. Okay, because this is her season.
Wait, is that Carrie, the famous?
Yes.
I love him. Hi, Carrie. I follow him too. He's amazing.
We fuck with you, Carrie. But that was just an example. Angela masterfully, right, got the most emotion we've seen out of Porsha all season. Angela pulled it out of her on that tennis court, putting that fan in front of her face like that, and not being able to continue in the scene, and it reaching an emotional place that broke that barrier, that shield that Porsha's been filming with all season, which is creating the disconnect between her and her fans. We want to know your emotions. We want to know how you feel about Simon giving you hell. We want to know, what the real deal on you and Shamea's relationship is, because we've seen it for many, many years. Remember, Shamea's been appearing on this show as a friend of since season 5. So she's not a new character to the core viewership of this show. We know the history. We remember seeing Phaedra do like this. We remember seeing Phaedra do that, saying that Shamea, alluding to or alleging that Shamea was having a sexual relationship with Candy and Todd, and it wasn't true. We remember all of those things. So we know the breaks that have taken place in the friendship of Porsha and Shamea, and we want to see it. Another point I want to make, Angela might have first share at that reunion. Carlos, you've talked about the importance of that. She's been the focus. She's instrumental to several of the stories that are taking place this season, okay? And based on the mid-season trailer, she got some more big-ass moments to come. Angela might take that first chair spot at the reunion opposite Porsha, so it'll be good to see.
I agree.
Claudia
Jordan.
I didn't see tears. I saw a fan in front of a face, and I've been around lots of girls with fake tears, and until I see water streaming down your face, I'm not buying it. I felt like she knew at that point, I'm looking really bad right now, and I'm going to cover my face, and I just can't continue. What? I think she's my lapdog. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Listen, I know bad acting when I see it because I do it all the time on Tubi, so I'm not buying it. Lots of and one went viral where I shot a whole family. I know bad acting. Porsha, girl, I see you when we see each other. No. Angela was very, very brilliant for not letting Porsha come to her house after what Porsha did with Fallon at Fallon and Simon's house. So I thought that was super dope, and it was also like a callback to that season when that happened.
Smart.
You can't show me that being deemed that you feeling like your friend thinks that she's your lapdog would make you that upset, and then in the next scene at the Pamper by Porsha thing, you were so cold to your friend.
Yep.
It's the math ain't math, and I'm not buying it, and I'm not quick to just give passes on that. I'm sorry. I call BS when I see BS. And I agree with you, Angela, just the way she's moving, like she goes right to the edge, but not enough where she's being messy or inappropriate. She holds the girls accountable, and she makes them explain, and she makes them answer, and then she tells the truth. I do feel like Shamea did need a push. I do think that the problem with Shamea and Porsha's friendship dynamic is it's an imbalance of power. I think that Shamea's self-esteem is not low, but lower than Porsha's, right? So she probably feels like Porsha's like the big dog, and she's like, she's in her shadow a little bit. No matter how many times we tell Shamea how beautiful she is, how dope she is, she got it going on, I think internally she feels less than. And I think Porsha plays a hand in that by the way she dismisses Shamea's feelings, it seems. You can see that there's an imbalance of power there, that it feels like one's here and one's there, when really they're probably more like this,
It's so funny because so many people, so many of us, right, have that takeaway from watching them on the show. But the minute you just take a step into like their social media accounts or any glimpse into the real lives that these ladies lead, Shamea she is in no way a subordinate to Porsha in real life. I think that we all as viewers just met Porsha first, and were quite literally introduced to Shamea as Porsha's friend. But now that they have even footing on the show, I think it is a bit of a culture shock for Porsha. I think there's some resentment and jealousy there, and just some things that she's going to have to face, truly identify and accept and work through, because the way she did Shamea when she was previewing her single at the bank at that Varda Angela's dinner, in addition to a myriad of other instances where we felt like Porsha was not the best friend to Shamea, it's a reckoning time. So we're going to see people like Angela Oakley, people like Kelly Farrell. They are having conversations with Shamea that are forcing her to say some shit out loud that she hasn't said out loud before. And if Porsha reacts to that, it's going to tell immediately who she's always been in that friendship. You'll be able to tell immediately by her reaction. So,
and I do like about this season that there are women that I don't think that Kelly and Angela are actually coming from a mean place. I think in past seasons, you may have seen people carrying bones back to get a scene, to be messy. It does feel like they're actually trying to give Shamea like real girl kind of girl to girl, women to women kind of advice, like, girl, like, you know, say something, speak up for yourself, and not, it doesn't feel like mean spirited. It doesn't feel like they're just trying to get a scene. So I do like that about this season. And I know people like to say I'm a Porsha hater. Listen, I like holding people accountable. I'm not saying anything different than Angela Oakley, okay? But she's just saying it better and smoother and cuter, you know, and with less cuss words. But she's like, I agree with how she's moving. She's seeing things. She's coming to a new friend group and saying, wait, hold up. This don't seem right. This ain't sitting right with me. And I think there's nothing wrong with calling that out. You can call people out, and that does not mean you're being a hater, because if someone is not evolving from their past bad behavior and still moving in the same way and not really learning, then until they stop, then we ain't gonna stop. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm just saying, we're just, you know, we're calling it out. And I would like to see like her like evolve. Porsha, I mean, I think I've said it before, y'all. I think she's adorable. She has a body is tea. She's funny. And when she's in her like fun bag and not being a mean girl, Porsha is a fun time.
mm-hmm.
But all this stuff that she's doing that she got when she kind of got bigger is making her less appealing. The thing that we liked about it was she was like kind of like that dingy, kind of naive, kind of came off kind of, I don't know any better. Oh, 265 days in a year. We laughed with her. Like we laughed at her, but we also laughed with her too. And it made her more charming. This mean girl thing does not work for her. It's not cute. It's not cute.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not landing well with the audience.
Yeah, so I want to, because one thing about our conversation that's very different than other people who recap the shows is we do sort of go deeper when it comes to the nature of some of this behavior. Somebody in the comments said something that I want to address because I agree with them. Shamea, and it's also something you brought on too, Claudia. There's a power dynamic. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a real conversation. There is a power dynamic in Shamea and Porsha's friendship. Just like there was a power dynamic in Nene and Cynthia's friendship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Claudia and Dustin, you two clocked it, because I didn't think about that till tonight, till you two said it. Angela and Kelly,
yeah,
they made sure to bring out Shamea's insecurities to the forefront because they were moving story along. And they also wanted, in a weird way, and guys, stay with me on this. In a weird way, Angela and Kelly were trying to empower Shamea, stand up for herself. And I thought it was something so interesting to watch, because I remember producing Atlanta Housewives, and Claudia, you were there season 7. All of the girls wanted Cynthia to wake up. And this is their words, not mine, right, Claudia? A lot of those girls were like, Cynthia, Nene called your husband a bitch. It looks like you're Nene's lapdog. Are you afraid of Nene? It was something that Cynthia had to deal with. And the beauty of Cynthia years later, she admitted this on my podcast, so listen to that. She said, because I came on the show with Nene, I felt indebted to her. She was my friend. And I thought I was just being a genuine friend by like, this woman is my friend on the show, so I'm gonna ride for her. And it wasn't until she got out of the cloud of the show that she was able to sort of see the dynamic shifting. I think for Shamea and Porsha's friendship, and I want all three of us to be real, especially you, Claudia, not that you're not real, but you have a lot of female friends.
Yeah.
And I want to hear a lot from you. I know that in some friendships, there are power dynamics.
Yeah.
In friendships, there are queen bees. Let's be real.
Yep.
And especially in female friendships, there are queen bees. And when I say queen bees, what I mean by that is every friend group has one person who is sort of like the leader, right? And then everyone else falls in line. Not that they're submissive or weak, it's the dynamic of their friendships. I have a friend group where that's the case in my friend group years later. I've been in all types of friend groups. My current friend group, it is that way. And one of my friends recently said to me, and I thought it was so funny, we've been friends for like 15 years, and he said this to me a few weeks ago. He said, bitch, I want you to know I have no problems being Carlos King's +1. Baby, I'm here for it. I want all the perks that comes along with being your friend, bitch. I want you to know I ain't jealous of you. I don't want your life, but baby, I want the perks. And we got a good laugh at it because he is so confident in his own looks, in his own career. He's not in the industry, but I thought it was interesting because it showed that we could talk about the elephant in the room and not be somebody that's not able to address it. And I think the thing is this, and let's be real. It is challenging. And Claudia, I want to get your thoughts on this. Porsha is the star of her friend group, right? It doesn't mean that Shamea is less of a star, right? And because Porsha and Shamea grew up together, one person's career accelerated to the high heavens and another person's didn't, as big as Porsha's. And I think what Shamea is craving for, and I would love to ask her this, but I think what Shamea is craving for is some acknowledgement of, I am now here, and I want us to be together in this. And I think she probably feels afraid to have that conversation because she's afraid of the response. So Claudia, in your female friendships, would you say that's the case in terms of like this subtle hierarchy that is left unsaid?
Yes, it's true. But I feel like, when in my friend groups, I will say I'm in that position, and that's not in a cocky way. A lot of them didn't know each other until I introduced them. So like my birthday trip, there was 12 of us and they all made toast to me, right? And the one thing they all said was, you brought us all together. Does that mean I'm the most successful of the group? Absolutely not. Tracy Evans was there. Annie Alonzo's there. She's on SWAT. She's, countless of my friend Chancey runs 2 businesses. It doesn't mean I'm better than them, richer than them, more beautiful than them. It does not mean that. I brought them all together. So there was like I have some history with all of them. And I'm usually the initiator of, hey, let's all go to Aruba. Let's all do this. But there's 2 types of women, right? There's some that love being in the Beyonce role, and they kind of can look down. Not that Beyonce does that, but I'm saying the obvious star, right? And then they're not conscious of it. They don't even realize like they're being rude or whatever. I feel like because I feel like I'm in that role with my friends, I go extra out of my way to big up my friends. Extra to make it feel like I never want it to feel like it's here and then it's here. If anything, it's here and it's here. Like damn near the same. The only thing I have not even over them is I initiate us getting together. But I think there's some women you learn a lot from. You learn a lot about a person by who they surround themselves with. A confident woman will surround herself with other women more beautiful, more successful, and that get more attention than them, and be totally fine. Like that's my dog right there. We here together. Insecure women will want to be the star of their group and surround themselves with women they know don't get as much attention, don't have it as popping as them. And that tells you all you need to know about that friend circle and how they probably treat each other and how one's probably going to feel a little less than. I think there's nothing more powerful than a group of women that are very closely yoked, equally yoked, or even different kinds of yoke, higher yokes, lower yokes, whatever. And they all exist in harmony. I just think that I'm not saying Porsha purposely does that to Shamea, but you can tell that one feels more above and one feels more below.
Yeah, I'm with Claudia on this one. I think there's definitely a way to responsibly be a leader in a friendship circle or a leader in a friendship group. If you're a person who has more acts, first of all, we can start with personality, right? Some people just have larger personalities. They're willing to go first and speak up first and do things first. And so they naturally assume that leadership role. I got a huge motherfucking personality and I don't mind taking the lead in my friendship circles. That by no means indicates me looking at them less than or anything like that. First of all, I love the fuck out of all of my friends and I ride for mine. All my friends know that. It's no secret, no question. Number two, I celebrate my friends just because I have a certain type of job or have certain access to different environments and different shit. They have incredible professional lives as well. And they have big personalities as well. And we celebrate each other. We lift each other up. There's a way to be the responsible leader and there's a way to be the friend of a leader as well that's responsible. That does not include jealousy or ego or stupid ass issues that will arise from ego and jealousy. There's no place for that in friendship. So if you're a leader, if you're a person who does assume that role for whatever reason, and you give a fuck about your friends, you care about their emotions and how they're made to feel, you're always aware of that. And you're not going to kiss their ass or go do things in a way that makes them feel even more different, but you're going to make sure that they're celebrated. You're going to make sure that you do the things that come naturally anyway. So to me, it boils down to the authenticity of the friendship. If you really ride, and you're prime example, Carlos and Claudia, I've known both of y'all for years. You all have both worked in entertainment for years prior to the little shit the things that I do now. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, I'm not glad you talk about my friends.
But you know what I'm saying. I've never felt like little dog or like little, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way. And I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for the things that you all have done, your accomplishments. It just goes back to the root of the friendship. So what we're watching on TV is because there are some fundamental cracks in their friendship that are directly related to ego, to jealousy, to sharing the spotlight, to not speaking up. You know what I'm saying? You have to really show up 100% in a friendship in both extremes that we're seeing in the friendship of Shamea and Porsha. Both of them could have done a better job being honest with each other. Both of them could have done a better job prioritizing their relationship. But from what we've seen on the TV, Porsha has not been as good of a friend to Shamea as we've seen Shamea be to Porsha. That's it for me.
And can you see? Oh, sorry, sir. No, I've been talking a lot, Carlos.
No, go ahead, please.
I'll make it quick. I try to put myself in people's shoes. And for Porsha, I understand in a way how she may feel, right? This is my area. This is where this is my thing that I have my show. And then when my friend comes along that, maybe you do little dog her, a little sister, I don't know. But she comes along and like the first few weeks, like everyone was like, Shamea. I could see how someone that's not that, I could see how that she would feel like you're encroaching on my territory. You know what I mean? Not that it's right or not that it's wrong. I'm just saying I could just be sympathetic to how she may feel, and maybe if she's not that secure, maybe she feels like someone's encroaching upon the thing that I have over you or the thing that I have, the one thing that's mine. This is my area. Not that it's right, but I can see.
Right. Mm-hmm. I just think even using the words over you, like the thing I have over you, just to me, that is the thing right there.
In her mind is what I'm.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that even exists.
Yes.
Me personally, I'm not gonna be around nobody that I can't trust. To me, that's the number one way to be not safe. You hear crazy ass true crime stories all the time about the best friend who was really jealous or whatever the fuck. The minute I see any indication of jealousy or snake ass behavior, any of that type shit, you'll never hear from me again. Real shit, because that's a safety issue at that point, and there's no place for that sort of perspective in real friendship to me. It's no way that Porsha should have ever. I don't care what, and we don't know she actually felt like this. We're judging based on what we've been seeing on what we've been shown on the show, right? But to me, there's no way that she should have ever felt like this show was something that a motherfucker she brought on the show, you know what I'm saying, can't be a part of. We wouldn't even know Shamea as your friend unless you didn't bring her on the damn show, Porsha. So for you to have that idea that you don't want to share in that way or share the spotlight, that's kind of fucked up to me. Like that.
Well, this is what
looks like.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. My bad, Carlos.
No, you go. No, my bad. This is what the reason why this episode is my favorite is because these are the type of topics I want to talk about because it's relatable. Mm-hmm. It's relatable to the friendships, whether it's gays, girls, men. These are relatable topics, and I think based on what happened at Porsha's event, right? So Porsha learns this information, and she decides not to talk to Shamea about it, right? All the girls are at the event, and then Kelly decided to tell Shamea, like, look, just so you know, Angela told Porsha what you said about her. And I know we pinky swore, which that's not the greatest thing, right? To say, I'm gonna tell y'all something about pinky swear. I think the thing is this. The difference between a Beyonce and Kelly is this. Beyonce and Kelly both were in the group together. Mm-hmm. And Beyonce was the lead singer. So she always, by position, literally position, was always 2 steps ahead of the rest of the girls in the group, right? But they both had a dream of stardom. And what I would like to know from Porsha and Shamea, and this is just me being real, did Shamea ever tell Porsha, right? Hey, I really want to be a housewife. Can you put me on? Because you know what I mean? Like, if me and Dustin, me and you are boys.
Yeah.
And this happened to me in my
life. It happened to you, yeah.
In my life. Thank you, Dustin. Save me, Lord Jesus. Where somebody assumed that I didn't give much to them. And I said, how am I supposed to know you wanted this if you didn't tell me?
That's true. Like, you walking around here mad at me. Well, you should have I wanted some camera time too. Well, I didn't know you did. If you would have told me, I would have said, okay. Me and Dustin met as friends. I met as a fan of Dustin, right? I was a fan of Dustin's reviews and his acting skills alongside Jussie Smollett, honey.
My boy.
So I was a fan of Dustin. And me and Dustin friendship developed because of just me admiring his skill set. And then when I was doing all this stuff with his YouTube channel, I obviously know he had a podcast. And I said, you want to hop on my YouTube and recap some stuff with me? And when people start to like Dustin, so much so, Claudia, let's talk about real friendship. Some people would say Dustin needs to host a reunion instead of Carlos. Kick Carlos off and have Dustin do it. I never once kicked Dustin off of my channel because he was getting all this attention. If anything, I embraced it because at the end of the day, we're not jealous of each other, but we also have a real friendship. And I know Dustin's dreams, and I'm here to help Dustin fulfill all his dreams that I'm able to do. Same thing with you, Claudia. People, you got Claudia on your show, kick her off. And I'm like, I like her recapping Atlanta Housewives. It makes sense to me. Y'all ain't gotta like it, but I think it makes sense. And I'm here to help Claudia live out her dreams. I am curious, in real life, did Shamea ever tell Porsha, I would like to be an Atlanta housewife? Can you put in a word? And if Shamea never told Porsha, how is it Portia's fault that she didn't give her a recommendation if Shamea never said that to her? And that's the conversation they should have. And I'm going to say this and let y'all cook. When Shamea was put on the spot to address it, I saw a little girl afraid to speak up for herself.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for Shamea because I want to go deep with Shamea. I need to know what was Shamea told in her childhood, where as a grown woman, she has this visible fear of telling her truth. And I felt really, really sad for her.
Didn't she say on the show though? I'm seeing people saying that also Candy brought her on the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't Shamea admit that she did see evidence that Porsha did in fact make a recommendation in the show? So to Porsha's credit, she did recommend her. But there's one thing you recommend, you recommend someone for something, but then people really embrace them. Like, you may not think they're going to embrace them like that. You're like, oh yeah, you come on the show, it's all good. But then they start giving you lots of love. Maybe there's that, but Porsha, you're still a star. Like, listen, no matter what I say about you, my critique of some of your behavior, you're still a star. Like, no one's taking your shine away from you. You have a huge fan base. You have lots of opportunities. People like you. Have a lot of people that do like you, even with your, your little messes. You do. Like, you never have to worry. I worked with a really big personality one time that would be so not intimidated, but bothered by people that were nowhere near his level of fame or wealth. And it was this mind blowing. Like, do you know how much further I have to go to be on that level? Like, you're good. But there are some people that are bothered by just a little bit of shine getting away from them. I'm not saying that's Porsha's case, but Porsha did recommend her for the show. She did. We got to give it.
She has been recommended several times. Candy has spoken at length about how she fought for many seasons to, she advocated for Shamea to be a part of this cast, right? Another note I think that we need to speak about related to the Porsha, Shamea, and Angela of it all, right? Mm-hmm. Again, they got mad at Candy for her Speak On It videos over the years, right? And they felt like she was dragging the cast. But those Speak On It videos are now turning out to be a great resource and a great timestamp for what the fuck has happened. So Marlo was on Speak On It a couple seasons ago, and she spoke about this was season 13. When they went to New Orleans and all that shit was going on. I remember Big Frida came on the show and there was an argument at the table. Marlo speaks at length in Candy Speak On the video about Shamea getting upset with her. If you remember at that table, Shamea was chiming in and she was nailing Marlo at that table. And it was because there had been another conversation off camera, just like the one that had taken place in this season, where Marlo and Shamea were arguing, and Marlo said something about Shamea's husband, according to Marlo. This is straight out of Marlo's mouth to Candy. Marlo said something about Shamea's husband in some capacity, and apparently Shamea said, like, he wouldn't want you, and Marlo was like, hey, man will fuck me. If he'll fuck you, he'll fuck me. And Shamea was highly offended by that. And you can see in her disposition in the scenes that followed at the table and all that other shit that was a real issue for her. So a lot of people have been sharing that clip and comparing and contrasting it to Shamea's nonchalant nature when Angela expressed to her that she was upset about what she overheard Porsha saying off camera, might I add, you know what I'm saying, about Angela's husband. So I don't know. I think that I just think that there's deeper issues going on here when they're showing themselves as who they really are to each other. Remember the conversation that went on about Charles and what Porsha said, that was off camera. So those ladies that was not for the show. That was not, conversation to move story along or say something to antagonize Angela. That was really real shit that they was kicking outside that pool. That was real feelings they were sharing that weren't really for the show or for our consumption. So it just makes you think on a deeper level, like what's really going on here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why people have started to this resounding conversation about holding this person accountable or holding that person accountable. But that falls flat on me because as soon as Cynthia held Kenya accountable, y'all was on her ass for weeks saying she was a horrible friend to Kenya. She was a bad friend to Kenya. She should have did this different. She shouldn't have said that. So at this point, I'm just enjoying the show. If the conversations happen on camera and we can make some sort of determination based on that, that's it. That's what I'm doing. Because when it comes down to true blue accountability, when it comes down to a person really standing on shit, it doesn't land the way that we think it would on the fans. So that's why you don't play to the fans. And that's why I don't even read the comments, because I feel like it's a place for people to share their thoughts. It's not a place to seek inspiration or to use as a compass when you're performing as a part of these casts. And I think that's another part of the disconnect when it comes to their friendship, because the fans have a lot to say about their friendship and that history.
That's true. Two things. Also, Shamea's husband didn't want her to go on the show, right? There's talks about that. And one thing we are forgetting about in regards to Porsha and Shamea's friendship is Shamea didn't even know why Porsha didn't come to her wedding.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
That had to be like, wait, what? I'm just finding this out now. You know, like you holding things in for years like that is like you not telling me I don't know this. Like, it's bananas. Like if you're not coming to my wedding, even though I had 3 or however I had, right? As my bestie, I'm gonna need to know that day what the reason is. I need to know right away. You know, that's got to be. You know, that was deep. That moment right there, that was pretty deep.
Let's get into that, because one of the things that was said was Porsha told Shamea, I did not go to your wedding because we weren't pretty much speaking. And Shamea said she never knew that, and that she was told something about not being able to fly and the comfortability of it. And then, you know, Black Twitter loves a receipt. That's why, to Dustin's point, when you are on these shows, you have to like remember what you say. One of the things that Claudia Jordan, one of the things was in a previous season, Porsha said she didn't go because I think it was something dealing with blood clots or something on the plane.
That was Carlos. That was Haiti with the Philippines.
Oh, okay, because you didn't get a first class flight, and it was a long flight. Because remember, Candy and Carmen were laughing at the table. That was in the heat of their disagreement, and they were laughing about Porsha not being able to recline on the plane, and that being her reason for not going. So,
yeah. So the fans saw that. So it's one of those things where could two things be true, or did y'all feel like what you said, Claudia? This friendship is so fractured that they don't have the ability to be real with each other based on whatever's happening in the moment.
Seems like Porsha's dismissive of Shamea, like, whatever, get over it. You know, if I can make it, I'll make it. And then it feels like Shamea is afraid to like really call it to the carpet. If my best friend's not making one of my 3 weddings or 5 weddings or however many, I want answers. And I would hold them accountable because I don't feel inferior to my best friend.
There you go.
She went to, for the record, Porsha did go to the wedding in Atlanta.
Well, that's convenient. I mean, if I just got to drive down the street, drive up 85, that's not a big deal. That's not a big sacrifice. I need you to get on a plane. You my bestie. And if I said I'm offering to buy your ticket, heifer, you better be there. I'm just saying. But I feel like it's sad that Shamea may feel like not being able to communicate with someone that you do love. They do. I'm sure they love each other, right? Mm-hmm. That's got to be a horrible feeling. Like feeling like you can't really say until you had the nudging of 2 women you kind of just met.
Which at that point, the other person is obviously going to be in defense mode, right? If we're now discussing some deeply buried, deep-rooted, deep-seated issues at the behest of some people that we really don't even know like that. You know what I'm saying? Porsha's automatically going to be on defense mode. And that's why we're seeing the breakdown that we're seeing right now in their friendship. Since the airing of this episode on Sunday, Shamea's done press. I saw her doing some interviews. She did Watch What Happens Live on Sunday and spoke very clearly and plainly about her disappointment in the breakdown of her friendship with Porsha. And she said that Andy asked her, was she pausing or stopping? And she said at this point, she is stopping the friendship. So Shamea is being more vocal now than she's ever been about it. And she has definitely been empowered from whatever source or for whatever reasons to speak her truth. I really enjoy Shamea on this show. Seeing her as a housewife has been great for me. I'm happy to see her on camera. I think she's got a great big personality that translates well into television. And I like Shamea on this show. I've always felt like Shamea was wronged with that Phaedra shit and the Candy situation. So seeing her in this arc, I'm enjoying it. I want to see more of it. And I also respect friendship. So no matter what my personal opinion is on who's right or wrong, we talking about a 20+ year friendship from when they was kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that you covet and you revere. Sometimes that reverence has to start in the midst of a breakdown or be, you know, it has to be derived from a breakdown sometimes. So maybe they can fix it. I'm hoping for the best.
But this is how I feel, Dustin.
Yeah.
Just because you grew up with somebody as kids or teenagers and you guys were the best of friends as teens, sometimes that doesn't translate when you are grown.
That's true.
And I think a lot of people stay friends because of the history of the years they've known each other. I'm just going to be honest here. I'm being very honest when I say this, and I know Atlanta. I lived there for years. Porsha and Shamea as adult women are not in the same friend group.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I think they both should talk to each other. I don't see them being friends.
Okay.
I think they're friends because of the history of the number. I think Shamea in real life has her own group of friends, and Porsha in real life has her own group of friends. I think they will always have, I'm hoping this, a respectful relationship.
Yeah.
But I'm being 1000% real. They're not the same type of chicks. They're just not. And I think somebody has to say it like I did growing up. Me and you, yes, we've known each other since we were this age, but in my 40s, we're not the same.
Person.
We're different people, and it's okay.
Yep.
It's okay. I don't think Porsha and Shamea should be friends. I'm sorry. They're not the same woman. They have two separate friend groups. It's obvious, but they got to have that tough conversation with each other. Just like how Nene and Cynthia on Nene's Leaks podcast. Make sure y'all watch it. She interviewed Cynthia. It was a great conversation. I love the interview because Nene and Cynthia both said, I'm paraphrasing, that we like who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
We won't ever be back like we were, but if we stumble upon each other at dinner, we can talk. But gone are the days of Nene and Cynthia talking on the phone 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of them going on vacation together. But they can coexist and get a good kiki, have a cocktail, and keep it moving. I think Shamea and Porsha needs to have that level of friendship.
Yeah, I agree. And also people change. I mean, listen, there's no secret that Portia's sister also felt a way about how she's been treated by her as well.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So it's not like this is an isolated incident. And maybe she's changed. Maybe the fame from, she definitely blew up, and some people act differently towards people. You can't start treating people like they're your assistants or they're your, hold my bag, take my picture, all that kind of stuff, and sometimes if fame comes quickly, sometimes it makes people kind of like, kind of be feeling themselves and be a little bit, unconcerned about other people's feelings or a little bit colorblind to it where you don't even like notice that you're doing it, because everybody else is fawning over you and fans and whatever you need. And then you start treating people that are close to you like they're the help. Not saying she's doing that. I'm just a hypothesis here, hypothetically speaking. But, it's okay. And nostalgia is not enough of a reason to stay friends if it's hurting you.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So next week, Dustin, Claudia, Shamea and Porsha have their infamous, I should say, sit down. So we will be back next week to talk about that and the rest of the episode. But thank you two so much for another great recap. Claudia, you are on tour, honey. Not Cowboy Carter, but Cowboy Claudia. Let them know what you got going on, baby.
We were in Indianapolis, Chicago for 2 shows, in St. Louis. Just got to Atlanta today. We're going to be in Greensboro on Thursday, Atlanta shows on Saturday, and then Charlotte on Sunday. I'll be in Atlanta all week. I actually had a long conversation with Cynthia yesterday. We talked for like over an hour. We get to catch up. I'm so glad we got to talk about a bunch of things. Like, shout out to you, Cynthia. I love you.
Yes.
That was fantastic. And she's like, I'll be seeing what y'all be. She's like, you're built for that. I love what you're saying. She likes the commentary and all of that. So yeah, just busy with that. Also, I really have to say, this Wednesday on my podcast with Erica Cobb, we just got a huge booking. I'm a political nerd, but we have the minority speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, joining us.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about messaging of the Democratic Party, the things that Trump is doing, and just a lot of things that I am so excited So please tune in this Wednesday live on Accidentally Informed with myself and Erica Cobb. It's going to be a big show for us. So yes.
Oh, I love that. And Dustin's also on tour. So Dustin, you have many dates.
I do, man. God is good, and he told me you can talk the shit. So I get to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm very excited. Tickets are available now. Go to DustinRossLive.com and you can have access to tickets to all the shows. We're kicking things off May 24th in Pittsburgh. May 31st, we'll be in Seattle. And then there's a litany of other cities listed as well. So please come out and laugh. We're going to have a good time. And I can't wait to see everybody on the road. And shout out to everybody who's already purchased tickets. I get so many tweets and DMs and shit from people who bought tickets. And that really warms my heart. So thank you. And I'm excited. Come see me.
I love seeing good people win, and you too.
Thank you, my friend. Same to you. Same to you.
Yes. Robert Allen said, tell Dustin how sexy he is to me, Team Shamea.
Thank you, Robert Allen. And yes, I am Team Shamea. That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Claudia. I will see y'all next week.
Love you, Claudia. Love you, Carlos. See y'all.
Love you guys. Woo! We survived another Monday. Yes. All right, Raindrops. So am I dropping an interview tomorrow? I don't think so. Wait, am I? I don't know what's going on anymore, Lord Jesus. So much is going on, child. So much is going on. But thank you guys for watching the Jackie Christie interview. If you haven't watched it, look at it. It's really funny. It's really good. I mean, we're talking about Jackie Christie, for Pete's sake. So make sure you guys look into that. Okay, and then the super chats. I think I did everybody. Vina Pearson, hey love. Yvette Boy, Drewby line period since the beginning. She has been lying about everything. She doesn't receive a pass. All right, Yvette, Lord Jesus. All right, Humble One. CCD TV, Carlos, Claudia, and Dustin. You're very, very sweet. Hey, you said, Mean just said Ty cheated on her with Drew on Basketball Wives. Lord Jesus. And Keisha, Porsha's also jealous because her were transactional. Y'all have a lot to say, Lord Jesus. All right. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to support Claudia and Dustin as they are on the road, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye.